In a quiet town, nestled among cobblestone streets, stood a tiny workshop. Inside, an old clockmaker spent his days mending broken watches. He was a gentle soul with a calm smile that could soothe even the most anxious customer. But there was something peculiar about him, a little quirk that made the townsfolk curious. He never fixed a clock immediately. Whenever someone brought him a broken timepiece, he would hold it with a delicate touch, close his eyes for a moment, and whisper, "Even time needs time." People found it strange. Why delay? Why the mysterious pause? It wasn't until one day that someone finally uncovered the truth behind his unhurried ways. You see, the clockmaker wasn't always this patient man. Years ago, he was known for his relentless pace. He was the man who rushed through everything: projects, relationships, opportunities. He lived by a simple, misguided belief: speed meant success. The faster he worked, the more he believed he was achieving. But reality had a different lesson in store for him. The faster he moved, the more mistakes he made. A rushed job here, a forgotten detail there. And with every mistake, a heavy wave of self-blame would wash over him. He pushed himself harder and harder, trying to outrun his own errors, until one day, he simply burned out. The exhaustion was so profound, so complete, that he could no longer tell the difference between day and night. His world became a blur of fatigue and anxiety. His health collapsed. His relationships, built on hurried conversations and fleeting moments, fell apart. His sense of purpose, once a roaring fire, faded into a pile of cold ash. He was lost, a ghost in his own life. In desperation, he left his hometown and traveled far away, searching for an answer he couldn't find in his frantic world. He eventually found a mentor, a wise old master who lived a life of quiet contemplation. This mentor taught him something so simple, yet so life-changing, it would redefine his entire existence. When a clock runs too fast, the mentor said, its gears grind against each other until they break. Humans are no different. That single sentence struck him like a bolt of lightning. It was a moment of profound clarity. He realized he had spent his whole life trying to outrun time, treating it as an adversary to be conquered rather than a partner to work with. He had been grinding his own gears to dust. He returned to his hometown after several years, a clockmaker. He opened his small clock shop, not as a business to earn money, but as a sanctuary to rebuild himself through the very virtue he had once scorned: patience. Every broken clock that came to his workshop was more than just a malfunctioning device. It was a metaphor. Each one reminded him of a person running too fast, just like he had. Every missing gear represented something people neglect in their race against the clock: rest, reflection, and balance. He repaired the clock slowly, thoughtfully. He learned to breathe between each delicate movement, to appreciate the quiet space between the ticks and the talks. He was no longer just fixing machines. He was healing himself, one gear at a time. Days turned into years, and a reputation began to grow around the old clockmaker. People started seeking him out, not just for his masterful repairs, but for his quiet wisdom. He always offered the same piece of advice, a lesson learned from his own broken past. What you rush breaks. What you value lasts. One crisp afternoon, a young person walked into his shop, their shoulders slumped with sadness. They held out a shattered pocket watch, its glass cracked and its hands frozen. "It was my father's," the child's voice trembled. "It hasn't worked in years. Please, can you fix it fast?" The clockmaker took the broken watch and, as he always did, held it gently to his heart. But this time, his whisper was different. "This one needs more than fixing," he said softly. He began the restoration, carefully taking the watch apart, piece by tiny piece. He cleaned every gear, polished every spring, and mended every crack. But as he worked, something unusual happened. While reassembling the delicate mechanism, his fingers brushed against a small hidden engraving on the inside of the watch's casing. He squinted to read the tiny letters. They spelled out a message: time spent with loved ones is never wasted. When the watch was finally restored, ticking with a steady, peaceful rhythm, he presented it to the young person. He pointed to the secret inscription. As the child read the words, tears welled up in their eyes. They weren't crying for the mended watch. They were crying because, in their own rush to grow up and move on, they had forgotten the very message their father had carried with him every day. They had forgotten what truly mattered. And then came the twist. The clockmaker turned and walked into the back room. He returned a moment later carrying a dusty wooden box filled with old broken parts, bent hands, cracked gears, and shattered springs. "Do you know what these are?" he asked, his voice gentle. The child shook their head, their eyes wide with curiosity. "These," the clockmaker explained, "are the pieces from my own life that I rushed through. Moments I can't get back, relationships I broke, mistakes I made by moving too fast. I keep them here to remind myself of one very important thing." He carefully placed the newly fixed pocket watch into the child's hands. He looked them in the eye and said, with a kindness that seemed to wrap around the entire room, "Time is not something you chase. It's something you care for." The moral of this story is simple, but it's something we all need to hear. Life isn't a race against the clock. It's about finding and understanding your own rhythm. It's about learning to slow down before life, in its own way, slows you down for good. So value your moments. Protect your energy. And always remember the clockmaker's wise words. Even time needs time. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, please consider liking and subscribing for more content like this. Take care.